Hey, Tonya D here, talking about Earth, the fifth energetic season. The ancient Chinese were keen observers of nature. They saw that the daily and yearly cycles affected everything in nature, creating evidence of predictable forces they referred to as energies. They even surmised that these energies had to have a powerful influence on humans, both physically and psychologically. These observations led them to develop a philosophy and a medicine for living a balanced and happy, vitality-filled life by living in harmony with the 5 seasons. From the day and night cycle, they extrapolated the concept of yin and yang, not as opposite but complementary forces. From the seasonal cycle, they conceived the 5 elements, sometimes called 5 phases or aspects of energy. But as keen observers of nature, the ancient Chinese knew that transitioning from one season to another would never happen in only one day, but over a transitional period of time. The transition was observed as a time when the departing energy was said to return to the earth to be transformed into the next seasonal energy. Thus, Earth was the name given to the transitional season and to the fifth energy. If you were to do the math, each regular season lasts 72 to 73 days. Each in-between transition season naturally occurs 4 times a year. Therefore, each transition period lasts approximately 18 days. It's the inter-season. Earth is seen as a moment of balance between the yin and the yang. Earth seasons begin January 18th to February 4th, April 18th to May 5th, July 20th to August 6th, October 21st to November 7th. Mark your calendars in this transition because Earth is the energy of purification. The Earth energetic season now is the best time to detox when the skin is relatively free of skin conditions given one's age. Use the Earth line during the Earth season to maintain skin balance.
Follow for more or gain insight to add energy medicine to your healing practice. Go ahead and visit tonyad.tv/phedo-5 or email info@tonyad.tv, and I will see you on the other side. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Blessings to you, my energetic being.
I always have compassion for people born in the Earth season. You're always in transition and probably more prone to adolescent acne, I should say. But with that, Beltane, blessings to you. Divine wills as well, inshallah, and Ashe. I just love saying that. You 333 plus magical energetic beings. Are we really going to hit the 444 this month? My angel numbers. Please share the excitement with your friends and your guests, maybe your enemies, frenemies, I don't know, along with like-minded musers in the virtual galaxy we live in. Either way, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me. And go ahead and hit that white rabbit. Do so right now. It really is the only way that we are going to make certain that this algorithm, this high tide, will give us the nutritional quotient that our heartfelt soul deserves, filling the stones in our bones, the ancient wisdom there, our inner value quotient, the optimistic venue, the love quotient, all of the things, the ingredients. But while we're waiting for people to hop on to the live, tune into the replay, or whatever it is you do on whatever timeline that you happen to be on, the way we value ourselves is actually the way the world will value us. We carry it in our energetic field. How many times have you been with somebody and you know energetically what they're thinking in their field, a little telepathy, because they're wearing somebody else's wardrobe usually. But fate is what happens and destiny is the path that we take that on. It's the fabric of the universe. So have you done a full pour? Have you added an extra cup to your cup? Or does your cup runneth over? Are you in the flow? So all in the area of being worthy in the arena of what we have already, being grateful. Is your ego coming from the spiritual side of things or the egoic heart or just the pure ego essence? Maybe you're a little more sensitive. Maybe you've got your alert signal on. Maybe you're kind of shying away on whatever awareness. Nature is always in transition, and we too are a part of nature. Naturally, organically changing, transforming, whether we're aware of it or not, shifting into something new. This often creates us, it makes us feel a little more like on shaky ground, maybe a little vulnerable, maybe we shy away from things and the way we feel. But all of this is kind of happening on the inner wills. So our energy centers have inner wills and outer wills. And as we're navigating through the day, following through on that to-do list, things we've committed to, decisions we've got to make, to put ourselves into our inner world, if you will. But the main ingredient is actually how we value ourselves, having self-value, prioritizing that value, an investment in ourselves beyond words. You know, sometimes we limit our sense of value for ourselves. So resist that narrative to go void of course, if you will. And when we validate our own self worth, we initiate a new value system. We're like investing in ourselves. And this investment literally pays forward. It's like getting extra credit or a bonus, if you will. That extra capital in the other world, I guess, is what I'm saying. So, why are we at this hypergate? Well, the moon is in the season of reality, healers, Virgo, the harvest, where things become real. So, with that, my name is Tonya D, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. And if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do, YouTube or otherwise. Go ahead and hit that white rabbit on YouTube if you're tuning in. That's usually where I am. And even my Musing with Tonya D podcast, Septemix. I don't know if you've tuned in yet, but I'll get to that one. We're in the season of Taurus, the Earth Star, nature empathy, the Shamans portal, and along with the mystical. We're going in between these two places. But before I go any further, once again, let's give a voice, a shout out to the village that is growing. My tribe is excelling. New peeps entering the village, the community. I'm all about quality over quantity, if you want to know the truth. New subscribers. I just like to give you a voice of acknowledgement. I saw some this morning, so gratitude and blessings to you and for you. New friends and guests, welcome to the show. And my intention really is to hit that 444 at least by the month end of May. Are you in to share your friends and guests and like-minded people and whatnot? The muse here. And of course, a shout out to those of you that have been a part of my journey since the beginning, that do frequent the frequency and come back. It takes a village. It really does take a tribe, a community. Gratitude and blessings to you and for you. Thanks for tuning in and joining me. Even if it is on the replay a little later or on a different timeline, I'm just grateful you're here. And remember, a comment if you do need a message for your day to get you on your way. Sharing is just another way of paying it forward. It's a gratitude blessing in disguise in a way, right? You could also find me, of course, on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. So thanks for watching those. Just remember, I am your otherworldly shamanic reflecting assistant. You truly are your own healer, but sometimes we need to get out of our own magical way, and we need that otherworldly life coach assistant, myself included, by the way, to get us out of our own magical way. Sometimes we're overly critical, right? The Daily Snippet. What's this all about? Well, I talk about the cosmic insights, the planets that are doing the cosmic dance. To me, they're part of their own elemental realm, on top of the elementals of the earth plane, in the world and not of it, not in it. But by design, I do follow the lunar energies of the moon through the seasons and the gates. I don't have a gate activated today. This is kind of my, I think I'm alone on the spell here for this one. But for the season of Taurus, we do have the Earth Star, our 10th energetic center online. Connected to the etheric mirror, by the way, all things nature. So you might be wondering if you're a nature empath. You'll know, and you might not know. But either way, take my Change Your Stars quiz to find out your intuitive gift order or psychic ability, which one's like the main stage ingredient. But we are lowering the drawbridge this week as we've been transforming our inner realm, the Imaginal, and now we're lowering the drawbridge, taking our inner net value out into the world to shine upon everybody to see, valuing ourselves more because we know we are worth more, integrating great change, the ability to give time and space to our greatest investment, which is ourselves, fully embodied, loving ourselves the way the divine loves us and bringing that down into our innate nature. I also do a 4 pillars, our foundational foundation, our useful ingredients. I bring a little bit of that in, subtle energy, chakras, cleansing the auric fields. I'm telling you, got tools for that. As a reflector, you know, that's kind of what I go through every morning often. And I also ask myself, is this the right time? And am I with the right people? That's why quality in the village is more important than quantity. So what I'm seeing is sometimes things that nobody else can see. And then what's the movement that I am creating with that? And what's the solution I'm creating within that movement? I'm basically solution-based over problems, what's the solution? We know we've got a problem, but what's the solution? So with our mind off on holiday, I don't know what your mind's choreographing, but being in the season where things are slowing down, very earthy, earth star, one step at a time. So the wheels of our mind are kind of on the slow turn, cranking slow, the artful language of the mind, the memoirs of our mind. So you may have writer's block, maybe a language block, even a barrier with our mind off on holiday. You might even actually be more intuitive, actually. Touching, sensing, touching, Taurus kind of frequencies. You may also be reflecting on what words you're producing through the affirmations that you speak. So really giving space to yourself to come up with a personal or produce a personal affirmation around your own innate value system. No more limiting your value, putting a limit on things. Something more life affirming, not life negating in your own value system. And just being conscious of your own ability to kind of choreograph like a wordsmith. Do the words you speak resonate with you? Are they enlightening you? And whatever they are, make sure you affirm them. Do that on the daily. Mine is, I'm doing fantastic. Whether I am or not, I say it. And then it kind of changes. So what you ultimately feel will kind of be that determining factor and your inner worth, if that holds true for you and through you. So just being aware and conscious of your own ability to choreograph a decision and really being your own leader. Being that this is a year of great change, transformation, that even planet's going on holiday as well today, later on. Pluto, the great transformer, the rise of the phoenix, right? The ghost of the darkness even. So maybe journal, be a cosmic mirror for yourself, reflecting like a reflector, reflecting on your own transformation, even the quick, innovative ones that kind of portal that maybe you've been through that's brought you to this place during that little short jaunt in the season of Aquarius. It's going back into Capricorn for a minute, right? So maybe you've noticed where you've moved from in order to transform into that Phoenix rising. So it really is kind of integration time. Integration really also takes time and space. A lot of times in ritual, you have to integrate the experience. I tend to start my integration before the experience. I kind of future things and then I go back. I can't even explain it. It's actually called the Merlin effect. I do this quite often for myself, along with reflecting on your own sacred transformation. So we all have the shaman's portal and the earth star, but what's on the stage, the cosmic brew of creating and manifesting. Are you creating desires from your heart or the heart of another? The tower crumbles when we're not authenticating our own heart space. But today's kind of a game changer when our heart's desires actually become blooming, full. Plus it's Beltane, so it's bringing more of that in. That's where wishes really become delicious. They're flavorful. You can see them budding and bursting, but really holding the tone, the signature tone, and just imagine and feel it. Visualize what this looks like for you. And really kind of have it in your imaginal field, your imagination. If you can imagine it, you could create it, you can affirm it, and you can actually put it in a sacred placeholder, your sacred heart, where actually your dreams come true. The imaginal realm is what brings things into this physical reality. And just to add extra sauce, are you loving the blossom and the blooming and trusting within yourself, the feelings of just magnetizing and valuing yourself, knowing that you do have value and that you are valued? I often say I'm taking up airspace for a couple reasons. A lot of people would go down the rabbit hole if I say I'm wasting airspace or whatever. Air is also our voice. Air is also our mind, and it's also full of particles, more that are unseen to the human eye than the seen. Waves and things, right? Colors. I would say auric fields, the color of your auric field. An entire world lives in airspace, along with telepathy. So taking up airspace, the quality of the air we even breathe, even not being heard is also a part of the airspace. Some pollute our airspace. I actually cover these elementals in the Rising of the Origins, the realm of the elementals. I do have a link below, not just for that, but also for the, it's all the same link. You can click on one link and take that intuitive gift quiz, but also join the Rising of the Origins, my upcoming immersion. June 1st, a month from today. But this is just investing in our own self-investment, investing in ourselves. It's not so much a money thing, but it's more of an inner self-world thing. And the cosmic brew is spinning the integration of like confidence and valuing ourselves, which later leads to abundance, not always monetary abundance, but feeling abundant on the inside and doing the cinnamon and the salt, blowing it in the front door. It's the first day of the month, right? The first day of May. So it's energy to matter. It's the imagination where things come to form. It's this cohesive form and allowing life to just unfold and blossom around us with these healing aspects of really being in alignment with our own ability to create with Creator, also within integrity. So if you're not feeling it, the universe is actually sending you a signal. It might be like a code, really. Even our soul, maybe, if your soul's feeling like things are sketchy, the soul's authentic self, the shaman's portal. Maybe you need more space. Maybe you need more time for that integration. Kind of do it like a tool, right? Shining it up. It's time to shine brighter than ever before, coming out of the closet onto the stage of life with a wardrobe that actually fits you perfectly. And the more we value ourselves on the inside, the more fate and destiny kind of collide. I literally have this on my desk. It's as if the universe is going to spiritually, or spiritualate, I like that, is going to spiritually align the fabric of destiny. So with that, just a few announcements. The Season of the Witches, my podcast. I don't know if you've listened to Jim, but he's pretty hilarious, Jim Marshall. He's created this entire novel, a book, on the hierarchy of human phenomena, septemics. I think he even created that word. But the Season of the Witches, my Musing with Tonya D podcast, he's this week's audio room artist. I like that, audio room artist, and my virtual medicine room. Just remember to comment on your favorite audio room artist, Musing with Tonya D podcast. And you could find that on my website, tonyad.tv/podcast, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and I'm sure other places as well. But Jim is actually going to be a guest in the Rising of the Origins, the first or second week of June. So be sure to tune into this. He's actually going to do kind of like a webinar, I guess, in my private groups. So if you'd like to join in as he discusses septemics. And on Sundays, I traditionally do a mystery guest, but you guys are being so shy. Nobody's signed up to be my mystery guest artist. I actually do your 4 pillars chart in a private community. Nobody knows who you are. And if you need assistance with your emotional foundation, that's what I bring in there. And that's actually why I do the Rising of the Origins is the name of that group, along with my free online immersion. Again, that starts June 1st. It's 5 days. I go every other day. It's about immersing ourselves into discovering your soul and your life purpose, along with the elementals, setting your foundation, bringing in the cosmics. And I merge actually the elementals and the subtles so you can kind of get at your own choreography, kind of emanating and brewing for yourself. I am editing the handout for that in that container. And I also offer cowrie shell divination. So anybody who's experienced that. These are fantastic. I was trained, actually. I'm certified through Melodoma himself, Melodoma Somé, my elder. I miss him. He transitioned into the ancestor realm. I can't believe it's been a freaking year. But yeah, he brought cowrie shell divination to the West. It was actually inspired and brought to the doTERRA tribe by the Candomblé, the little beings of the other world that are singing the poetries and the laughter and the love and all the things. But being a protege of his for over 10 years, this is really a great way of doing divination other than the tarot. And at the end, I generally do pull a card from the Fae because I love the Fae, the Candomblé. And I'm also taking a few inspirited people, like-minded medicine people, on an adventure to Mongolia. If you're interested, the price is actually going to go up the end of May. I don't know how much, but be sure to join in because it's limited now. We're down to the hour, right? And then Beltane. Go ahead and share your Beltane rituals in the comments, but love to hear what you all do on this Sabbath day as well. And modernity, the modernity of the pagan, the druid, the shamans of the old, the origin, getting back to the origins. And Beltane celebrations are kind of reflective of like timeless beliefs, traditions that have really endured through, I mean, it just reminds me of ritual every time any Sabbath holiday is actually a whole nother ritual for me. But nature's abundant. It's spirit of the spring. It's time to celebrate and just rejoice. Be out in the sun, be in the warmth, flowers. Absolutely do a flower offering. Even the planets, right? But it really is a time to celebrate between the spring and the summer, which we're in the transition of the dragon. It's a time to honor just like the increasing energy, the strength of the sun, the yang energy of fire coming in, and the longer days as we enter the season of summer. And really, nature blooms, it blossoms, and so does our human spirit. It just becomes more energized like the sun, more frisky, more love herself of ourselves and in our minds, I should say. So being that we're in the last few days of the transition from spring into summer, the dragon month, which actually brings me to the elemental highway. What's on the elemental highway for today? I should have had a Beltane picture, apologies. But we do have a Yin Earth Goat of a day, very earthy day, the greatest of all time in the dragon month. So these two energies are actually in conflict, but the Yin energy is always our inner world, bringing the Yin to the Yang, which is the dragon. So this is a very transformative manifesting day, spirit to matter. The rabbit produces for the Earth Day. That's just funny. And nature is power, being seen as a creative power, but kindness. And Earth is nurturing, it's caring, it's understanding, it's being thoughtful. Even in the season of the goat, where we've got charm and charisma is actually hidden. It's inside of us. So it kind of is a friendly day, and the yang fire is a healthy resource. It's the big sun. This could be a shining, charismatic mentor, resources coming towards us, which is great. And the dragon's kind of heavy. It's a mountain. It's an unmovable mountain, where our day is the soil that needs to be kind of aerated. That's kind of what we do, right? Something questionable maybe. Water's an asset. That represents money. It's also abundance, money earned through what we do and what we create and what we move, because water moves as far as an Earth Day, and water's always moving. But as far as an Earth Day master, water moving, and it represents wealth. So it's like moving our money, moving our assets. And the rabbit is producing possibly something that we get this creative power from. However, once again, what are we missing? Of course, metal. Metal for the Earth Day, the energy of Earth, is performance. It's refined performance. It's managing ourselves. It's the bridge between all of these elementals on this day. But metal's also technology, computers, cars, those kinds of things. Things that we do with metal could be gold, silvers, all the things really. Things that appear maybe slow in that arena for you. But cars also being metal, knives, forging into something, be creative, crystals, stuff like that. Stones even to the bones. But the messages of the week, I'm actually going with the Oracle because it's a very earthy feeling day, and we're going to transition into summer this week. At the end of this week, we're getting a new month on the pillar there. But today, for Monday, we've got the cross, the Andean cross, which I think it reminds me of the Shamans portal. So it's amazing that this actually showed up today because that's fairly highlighted. And the twos are emotions. The moon's in the season of Virgo. So this is like healing our emotions, and where emotions become reality, they become manifested. So something we're healing is what I'm feeling. We're healing something in this reality. Maybe we're becoming consciously aware of what we are emoting, because that may become tangible. May become real. So hopefully we're emoting a higher place of self-valuing ourselves and trusting ourselves. And if you do have that alert signal go on, just take a breath and a pause. Don't move forward until you get the flow. Just make sure whatever it is that you're in heart loving, not heart loathing. There's no need to be overcritical of ourselves. And if you are critical, be critical of how much you do value yourself, how much you love yourself down into the core. Critical self-love, right? But the Andean cross, it really does remind me of the shaman's portal, and it represents the cosmology of the shaman. So it kind of goes in the directions as well, east, south, north, east, south, west, east. You get the idea. The upper world, the lower world. and stepping into each of these realms, which is the imaginal realm. The hole in the center is the gateway to these interdimensional worlds where we can travel. And the eye, it's almost the eye of the needle or the eye of the storm that we can actually all go through to experience our higher states of consciousness, awareness, wisdom, different worlds. I'm thinking animal totems, of course, the fae, even to break free of this linear time. Time is fluid. So this is kind of a message, or it's an invitation. It's kind of announcing. It's an announcement that we are like on the epitome of change here. It's a great start. It's the beginning of a new journey, maybe discovering our own value. And we've raised our bar. Maybe it's time that we raise our eyes and gaze from the day-to-day mundane world, that which until the moment, possibly, especially with Pluto doing a holiday herself, everything's a her in my world, things that may have seemed beyond your grasp, go into the imaginal. Allow new wisdom, insight to be your guide. Stop trying to make sense of anything or at all. The universe never works how we expect it to, right? So before we respond with that reverberating yes, the sound loud enough to echo, the universe speaks another language, right? So that's kind of the message there. We're going to go into the imaginal to bring the imagination into this reality. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these, but tomorrow we have the blade, which is great. This reminds me of cutting things away like a blade, and we need metal, so I thought that was curious. I'm not going to dive in deeper till I look at the rest of these cards. Then Wednesday, we have the witness. So what are we going to witness? Which actually is bringing me back to the energy of today, because that's a 64. I'll get into that later. So just hold the note for that. And for excitement here, on Thursday, we have the tree of life, which is kind of uprooted. So this tells me we may be moving, which is exciting. And then just for fun, we've got the mystical shaman for Friday, plus a few other messages. Collectively, we're connected. So I'm going with them for the weekend. So as we are journeying into the imaginal realm, which actually, it's funny, the mystical shaman, we're heading there on the full moon, the lunar eclipse. So I'm about to sneeze, so I apologize for that, having my own little hiccup. Ashe. And just so you know, sneezing is blessings from the ancestors. They hear us. So the shaman showing up plus 3 other cards with this eclipsed moon. And mind you, I just barely finished the musing moon meditation. So that should be up shortly. But there's just so much goodness, I believe, happening. So we do have the Andean cross today, shaman's portal, the worlds in between all of the worlds. So see into areas where you could nurture yourself, maybe take better care of yourself, what you value about yourself, be true to you, valuing ourselves until the self-value is like a ritual, a habit that eventually it takes form, so you don't have to really think about it. And then you become a magnetic manifester of self-value within yourself. So that's where it becomes more stable, solid like a rock, a mountain, the dragon, a solid mountain, a foundation that we can feel and know that we are literally on stable ground. So really hug your solid embodied self, pinch yourself, maybe go out and hug a tree, hug yourself more. Ooh, and the tree. I would hug myself and take a bow in the mirror and be more self-loving to that overly critical asshat part of yourself. It's time to fluff that away. Do some scrubbing in that auric field. I would just affirm that I am my greatest treasure and hold yourself in the highest of esteems, valuing ourselves as a seen treasure and opening up that treasure box. The gift is in the ghost of the darkness, which I talked about in the 10 days of remembering challenge, or the challenge of remembering. So with that, I will tune in tomorrow, and blessings. Thanks for showing up as always. Ashe.
But to compare with chemistry, before Dmitry Mendeleev developed the periodic table of elements, there was chemistry, but he revolutionized it by making it easier to understand, easier to teach, and easier to learn. So every physical scientist in the world, in fact, even non-physical scientists like medical scientists, everybody uses the periodic table. It's a staple. It's on It's in every book and it's on every wall. Okay? That is what these scales are like for the 35 corresponding subjects that I told you. So when I saw this, I said, wait a minute. I can now go from helping people by the hundreds, which is what I had been doing as the human development engineer, to helping people by the millions, if I put this in a book and get it out to the general populace. So the first version of the book was completed in December of 95.